The first one is going to be 45, 45, 90 triangle. Okay, now that represents the degree measure of the triangle. So we have a 45-degree angle, a 45-degree angle, and a 90-degree angle. So let's just draw what that looks like. We have 45s, and then we have a 90-degree angle. What type of triangle is that? It's a right triangle. What else? It's something else too. Yeah?
It's got a hypotenuse.
It does have a hypotenuse, which means it's a right triangle, but there's something else that's special about this triangle. It has two 45-degree angles, which makes it what kind of triangle?
Isosceles?
It's isosceles. Okay, and since it's an isosceles triangle, that means that two sides are going to be the same, right? That's what an isosceles triangle means. So we know two sides are going to be the same, and they're going to be the ones opposite those 45-degree angles. So the way I teach this is I draw a tic-tac-toe board. Okay. A lot of teachers teach it differently. This is just one way of learning it. Up top here, I'm going to put the degree measures. So I have 45, 45, 90. That never changes for this type of special right triangle, I should say. It's going to be 45, 45, 90. And then the second line never changes either. It's what it's across from those degree measures. So this 45-degree angle across from that 45-degree angle is going to be x. So I'm going to put x. Now if this is x, what's across from this 45? X, because they're going to be the same because it's isosceles. So we have x, x, and then the only other different one is across from the 90 is x root 2. And x can be any number. So what it's going to do is it's going to give you the triangle and then one of the side lengths, and it's going to say, find the other side lengths. Okay? And you're going to use that tic-tac-toe board to find those other side lengths. So this may seem kind of ambiguous right now. It's going to make a lot more sense when we do an example. So let's go ahead and do one example. Okay, so we have 45, 45, 90. And then we're given that value of a 3. Whenever you see a 45, 45, 90 triangle, your first thing is always going to be to draw that tic-tac-toe board. So we're going to draw it. We have 45, 45, 90, and that second row stays the same. It's always going to be x, x, x root 2 when we're working with 45, 45, 90 triangles. So that we leave that second row is going to be that. That third row is when we're going to actually put in values. Okay? So now, what Sean just said, we're given this 3. Well, this 3 is across from the 45. So where do I put it? Under a 45, yeah. So I'm going to put it underneath here. Well, given that now, what other information do I know? X equals 3. So if this X is 3, this X is 3. And then what's this one? 3 root 2. Okay? And that's all you have to do. I know, right? I like to put those values back onto my picture because there'll be times that it will say like find y, right? So then you could clearly see which one's y. So I'm going to put 3 here and then 3 root 2. Whoa. 3 root 2 there. Just so that if it asks what is y, you can go back to your picture and look. Questions? Yeah?
Where did the x squared root come
I gave it to you.
from? Okay. So there's
I can show you later, but I gave it to you. Okay. Let's go ahead and I want you to do 2 examples yourself. Okay, so go ahead and do those 2 examples, and then I'll go over. So the first thing you're going to do is draw that tic-tac-toe board. 45, 45, 90. That second row stays the same. X, X, X root 2. And then the value we're given is across from the 90 is 8 root 2. So where am I going to put that? Underneath 90. So this is 8 root 2. Given that, what else do I know? What value? X. X is 8, right? Because if this is X root 2, this is 8 root 2. X has to be 8. Both of those are 8, and then I'm going to put that on my picture so that I can answer other questions. Questions? Okay, let's do the next one. 45, 45, 90. This is going to be X, X, X root 2. I'm given across from the 90 is 6. So I put that underneath the 90. Yeah?
Would that be how you write your answer? Or
What
like
answer?
Just leave the or like do you write it out?
So like an example of a question, it would be like, this would be X. And it would say like, find X. And then you would say, X is 8. Just something like that. Or like, if this was a Z, find Z. And then you would say, Z equals 3 root 2. But yeah, it's really that easy. You don't have to do anything else. Okay? Now, why is example 3 a little bit harder? There's no root 2, right? It says 6. Okay, well, I know that x root 2, that has to be 6. So those actually equal each other. So I'm going to say x root 2 equals 6. I need to find x. So how do I find x? What? Divide by root 2. So x equals 6 over root 2. All I did was I set these equal to each other, and then I solved for x. Right now, this is how I'm going to leave my answer, but this is not your final answer. What I'm going to have you do is I'm going to put an asterisk here. Finish after notes. Tonight's notes is going to show you how to finish the problem. So after you're done with your notes tonight, I want you to go back and finish this problem, okay? Right now, that's going to be our answer. Tonight, I want you to finish it, okay? Because it's actually a really ugly answer for math people. Square roots in the bottom, that's ugly. We don't like that. Ugly. So, you're going to have to finish that problem for homework, okay? Questions about 45, 45, 90? Yeah? No. That's why our paper split into two. Because we have 45, 45, 90, and then the other one we're going to learn right now. Yeah?
So the angles for that one will be 6 squared root of 2, 6 squared root of 2, and then 6.
You mean the side lengths?
I mean, then like, yeah.
The side lengths would be 6 over root 2, 6 over root 2, 6. But that's not the final answer.
Okay, good.
You have to finish that one after you watch notes, okay? Okay, let's go all the way back to the top. And now, our next triangle is going to be a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So now our angle measures are different. So they're not always 45, 45, 90. We have 30, 60, 90. But it is essentially the same thing, just different things you have to memorize. Okay? So we're going to draw a triangle. And we're going to put in our values. We have 30, 60, 90. And again, we draw a tic-tac-toe board. So if you go to Math Lab and you have them help you with this, they may not do a tic-tac-toe board. They may just say X, X, X root 2. Okay? And like I said, teachers teach us different ways. I like the tic-tac-toe board because it organizes things. Some teachers don't do it that way. Okay? So just know that this is definitely one of those things that people teach different ways. Okay? So we have 30, 60, 90. That goes in the top. Across from the 30. Across from the 30 is going to be X. Okay, so we put an X there. I'm going to skip 60 for a second and go to 90. Across from the 90 is 2X. So we have X, we have 2X. And then across from that 60 is going to be X root 3. Okay, so those two lines stay the same. X, X root 3, 2X. So now you just have to memorize both of these. You just need to know 45, 45, 90 is X, X, X root 2. 30, 60, 90 is X, X root 3, 2X. Okay, those are just things you have to memorize. Again, X can be any number. Okay, so let's do an example. So we have our 30, 60, 90 triangle. You're going to start by drawing that tic-tac-toe board. So go ahead and draw your tic-tac-toe board and try to put in some values. So our top two rows stay the same, 30, 60, 90. X, x root 3, 2x. And then we know across from that 30 is 4. So if I know that, where do I put 4? Underneath the x. That's 4 right there. So now that I know that, if that's 4, then what's underneath the 60? 4 root 3, and then the other one? 2 times 4, which is 8. Okay, and those are just going to go on my picture. 4 root 3 and 8. Questions? Okay, I'm going to have you do 2 more examples then. So I'm going to draw my tic-tac-toe board. 30, 60, 90. X, x root 3, 2x. The one we're given is across from the 60. is 6 root 3, so I'm going to put that here. Given that, what's x? 6. So what's 2x? 12. So then this is going to be 12 and 6. Okay, and then the last one. We're given across from the 90 is 18. So I'm going to write that here. Given that information, what's x? 9, right? Because 2x equals 18. So x has to be 9. And that'll be 9 root 3. So this is 9 root 3. Questions? Yeah? No, it would be 2x equals 18. So then to find x, you divide by 2. Okay?